Hello YouTube, welcome back everyone. Have you guys ever noticed how all my videos always start off with me kind of like laughing and being like, ha ha ha, and then the moment we get into the topic, like I just turn into this raging, frustrated monster of anger, or frustration rather. Uh, Actually today I was going to film a different video related more to travel stuff, but my subscriber turned friend, you know who you are, said that she is missing that I haven't done anything political, social video in a while. I actually told her, I was like, so you enjoy seeing me get frustrated? How very evil of you. But yeah, so I was like, all right, maybe I'll think of something. And this is a video I've been wanting to do for a while. So I guess I'll just do that today instead of the planned video talking about travel related stuff. That'll be, I guess, the next video then. Yes, I'm gonna go shower and wash my hair after this. That's why my hair looks the way it does. Okay, so today's topic, I wanted to talk about the 5 things that have caused me to be the most red-pilled from all of the social and political issues that have happened in the last, I want to say the world really started going crazy around 2015-ish. That's when I really started noticing, or I should say at least that's when I really noticed this break between me and the left. For those of you guys who have watched my channel for a long time, you would see that probably in the past, I probably came across as a lot more liberal than I do in 2022. As I said, for me, I don't personally think that I've become less liberal on social issues. I just feel like I'm going to say this word on I'm going to sound ignorant because I can't say the word right, overtone window has shifted so far left that I think a lot of people that used to be considered liberal on social matters now look centrist or even right-leaning. And I believe that is what has also happened to me. In the past, I always identified as probably socially liberal and fiscally conservative. I think now in 2022, most people would say that I lean both socially and fiscally conservative based off of the shift to the left, overturn window. Shouldn't use terminology I can't pronounce. Oh well, it'll be something you guys can make fun of. I know I've got my set of trolls and haters on YouTube, and they'll appreciate me giving them ammunition, something they can make fun of for me. So yeah, since 2015, there have been certain things that have more and more made me go like, this is a leftist stance. This is something that the left believes in. And I was like, I can't go with that. So I guess maybe I'm not as left as I thought. And so I thought today I was going to do the top 5 things. There's actually top 6. You know, I'm going to do top 5 and an honorable mention because I just thought of something else. Yeah. Okay, well, I don't have to write it down. I made my little list, but I don't have to write it down. Should I do the honorable mention first, or should I do it last? I'll do it last. Okay, so what is on? So I'm going to go from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to the issue that upset me the most and has made me the most red-pilled. For those of you guys who don't know what that term means, red-pilled is what now in the media and social and political settings they use as people who were more liberal or identified more left, who have now since found themselves having more things that they agree with the Conservative Party. Okay, so number 5 is the resurgence, especially in the Western world, of the idea of socialism. I made videos about this back when it happened, when the election year, the year that Trump won. No, not the year that Trump won. The year that Biden won, when Bernie Sanders was an actual contender for the Democratic Party. I mean, literally all of my circuits like were about to blow up. I was like, I cannot believe. First of all, the Democratic Party, no party in the U.S. was ever pro-socialism, uh, and especially never openly pro-socialism. One of the things, America was always very hard on its stance in terms of capitalism. And you guys know that I am a big time believer and supporter in capitalism, socialism, bleh, communism, bleh, it doesn't work, it will never work. And more than anything, when Bernie Sanders was actually considered a contender by the Democratic Party, I was just thinking, how many more times do we have to go through this social experiment called socialism before people realize that it doesn't work? It does not work. People are not driven by doing what is best for the community, especially a community that they don't have any kind of personal relationship to. Yes, if you live in a small commune within your family, you might be willing to do things that are not beneficial to yourself for the good of your mother or your brother or your child or something, because you care about them and you know them. And you might say that people will extend that feeling and attitude as far as like a friendship circle. And like I said, if we lived in some kind of hippie commune and it was like 100 people and you knew everybody, yes, but it is absolutely ridiculous to think that we could work in a society where you are expected to work and perform and care for the good of the people when you have absolutely no connection to them whatsoever. That's just not how human beings work, and it has never worked. And I'm so tired of the Democrats constantly trying to hold up places like Sweden and Finland, and they're like, look, but it works there. And I'm kind of like, every country that has introduced socialism, over time it has fallen apart. And the further the socialism has leaned to communism, the quicker the fall. Some countries like Germany, where I'm from, we are still barely kind of holding on to socialism. But even that, like, in the video I made, go back and check that out because I don't want to make this video too long. Even there, it's just already starting to completely fall apart. So many of the benefits that we used to have under socialism, that were free, are already falling away. It's just not a long-term thing, and like that's going to work, and it's going to fall apart in Finland and in Sweden as well, and all those northern European countries, especially with them opening their gates more and more to immigration and bringing in people who have a completely different mindset in terms of work ethic, in terms of, doing things for the community, etc., etc. So, yeah, when people were really pushing Bernie Sanders, I was like, okay, I was just like, Democrats, brain dead, can't be part of that part. I can't be part of that anymore. The number 4 thing that has really pushed me away from the left, and I think this is something that's pushed me away a lot earlier than probably around 2015, that this has been something that has been pushing me away from the left more and more since I started traveling and more heavily and living in other countries more heavily. So probably around 2012, I think, is when I really started my nomadic life. God, it's been 10 years. Can you believe that? That means I've been on YouTube for over 10 years. Oof. How pathetic. How pathetic. Be on YouTube for 10 years. I have like 7 followers. Oh well. And that is, I'm so tired and bored of this narrative that the Western world is this place that is just full of homophobia and full of racism and full of sexism, and you can't get anywhere, and everybody in the Western world is just such a victim. I'm like that. I'm sorry, the moment you leave the Western world, and I think this is something that is more true about how Americans think, because Americans are notorious for never having traveled outside of the United States. So their field of vision of what the world is incredibly small. I think a lot of Americans really think like America is the antithesis of what everything in the world looks like and thinks. So if in America people think about black people a certain way and gay people a certain way, they must think that way everywhere in the world. And it's like that, you couldn't be further from the truth. And having lived outside of the Western world now for a good 10 years. Well, that's not true. Probably like 8 years. And having seen how things are in the rest of the world, I'm just kind of like, I absolutely cannot hear, especially the millennials and Gen Zs in places like Britain and Australia and the USA and Canada, crying and whining and being like, life is so hard in the Western world. We have it so much harder. And I'm just kind of like, really? You do? You do? Ever been to Zimbabwe? Ever been to Venezuela? Ever been to Mozambique? Ever been to, I don't know, Colombia? Ever been to Laos? Ever been to like 80% of the world where people would be so happy to have the opportunities and the chances and like the wealth and everything? It's kind of like literally just these spoiled Western people with their 3 iPhones and their huge cars and never having to worry if there's going to be electricity or water or food on the table, everything in abundance. And then like, people don't accept me for a she, bee, zimzer, half-tree elf. And it's like so heartbreaking when I go to work and they don't use those pronouns because that's who I am and I have legitimate issues. And like, you do have legitimate issues, like up here. That's where your legitimate issues are. So the moment I started traveling as extensively as I did, and I've seen how people in the rest of the world, and I didn't put this on YouTube, but on my Facebook, I literally, I don't know, this was probably like a year or so ago, because I do have some friends who are more left than me. I put up like pictures that I've taken of children from all around the world, showing the way children and young people in places like Iraq and Lebanon, Syria, Zimbabwe, Colombia, like the kind of lives that children live in the rest of the world, literally at 3 or 4 years old, having to sweep and clean and help cook and figure out how to do money, go around and sell little things in baskets to contribute to the family. And I'm just kind of like, and then we have grown men and women 25, 26 years old, living in their parents' basement in the Western world. I'm like, I can't find a job because of the evil patriarchy in the West. It's just not fair, and I'm just always going to be oppressed because I'm a purple-haired, multi-gendered lesbian from Mars. Ugh, I literally, I have no sympathy for people with that kind of thinking and rationale anymore. I was like, another step far away from the left. Okay. The number 3 thing that has really red-pilled me, and you guys know this was coming because I have made so many videos on this topic, and that is everything related to the pandemic. I think even people on the left at this point in time are willing to admit what a complete shit show the last like 2.5 years, almost 3 years have been in terms of the pandemic, in terms of the mixed messages, in terms of, whatever. I lost so many subscribers right from the get-go because you guys can go back to, I don't know when it was, April or May of 2020 when I made that first video and I was like, I don't believe in any of these rules. I don't believe it's a big deal, all this kind of stuff. Turns out, of course, that I was right. Who would have thought? But yeah, like just how completely irrational most people reacted to just, and how blind everybody went along with all the rules. And I'm just like, I'm not even saying that I expected people to not be willing to do things like vaccinate, to wear masks, to social distance. But the fact that it wasn't even questioned, just the absolute sheepness of the world. Just like the government came in and they bent us over and they fucked us so hard, which, that can be a nice thing every once in a while to get a good fucking. But the way they did it, it was not a pleasant thing. I mean, like, they just came and they, like, we're gonna lock you down. Okay, baby daddy. Okay, lock me down. Lock me down hard. It's like, you're gonna wear 2 masks, you're gonna add a face shield and a hazmat. Oh yeah, daddy. Oh yeah, daddy. Oh yeah, take away my rights. Take them away. I'm just, and it just nobody considered the economy. Nobody considered people's mental health. Nobody considered, there was no questioning done. No, like, how are all these things going to affect us going past the pandemic? And it's like, and I honestly have to say one thing, I lost some friends, and I definitely lost a lot of subscribers when I talked about how I don't believe in any of these rules, and I think all of it's just completely ridiculous. And in my opinion, we should have just gone on with life as we did before, and just like, some people get sick, some people die. That's just the way life is. I know for a lot of people that is an unacceptable thing. I don't understand why up till the year 2020, everybody on the world knew that people die and it was just an acceptable fact in life. And all of a sudden in 2020 it was like, no. That 97-year-old man with cataracts and dementia, he has to survive. He has to survive. Just like, I was like, okay. But just, I like, now I remember what I was going to say. I was like, and now, what is now again causing some friction between like my friends and acquaintances and people on YouTube, that I'm, again, two things have now emerged from Corona. Like, one of the things maybe you guys have noticed or thought about, I know at least the person who requested I do a political video has been kind of like asking me why I don't think or talk more about the whole Ukraine situation. Big surprise, again, I have an unpopular opinion on that. But more so than anything, I'm kind of like, I am very annoyed at how many people who went along blindly with all of the things that the government told us to do during the big time last year, the year before, when everybody was still really worried about Corona. All of the nonsensical rules, I mean, and some of them were really nonsensical. Like, literally, like, you have to wear a mask here, but you don't have to wear a mask there. And, like, it just, and, oh, you have to get a shot so you'll never catch Corona. And then it's like, oh, well, you need 2 shots so you can't catch Corona. Oh, you need 3 shots and you can't catch. Well, you're still going to catch Corona, but you might not get it as badly. Just like, and the constant changing of, like, the ideas and the rules and lockdowns more than anything. I was like, all stores have to close by 6 p.m. It's like, oh, because Corona is on a time capsule, it somehow knows, oh, it's 6 p.m., time for me to come and become active and get people infected. Just stupid rules, and everybody just went along with them. Now these same people are now bitching about inflation and about, I knew that was going to come, and I was already so frustrated when all of these rules were just starting to be implemented, because I was like, I know for a fact that the same people who are bending over and taking it from the government and just following all these rules blindly are the same people who are then going to complain and be like, the economy is really bad, inflation's really high, there's a problem with the chain of supply, wait. And I literally, every friend that has done that to me that I know went along with the rules blindly, I've been like, shut the F up. I will not listen to it from you. This is exactly what you get for going along with all this crap blindly, for being so unwilling to just take 2 seconds of your day and go, this doesn't make sense. Maybe I should question this. Maybe I should go against this. And how the media and the governments, how evil they represented people who did question, who in the end effect now have been right. We are now exactly where all these people said we were going to be, including me. But we were the bad guys. I can't listen to it. And the other thing is one of the reasons I really haven't talked to about the Ukraine is I personally am just finding it a little too convenient that the moment all of the governments and all the countries in the world are opening up again and dismissing all the Corona rules, even though Corona numbers are just as high now as they were 2 years ago, just as many people are getting it, just when all the governments would have to actually face the music and have to come out and admit, so we lied to all of you guys, it was just all a big joke on our part, we ruined all of your guys' lives for the last 2 years, we screwed people over, some people are gonna, for the rest of their lives, walk around, we still have people, In Ecuador, they're still rather strict compared to other countries in the world. I still see people walking around with 2 masks and hazmat suits. I'm like, these people will never be able to be part of normal society again. And just when the governments have gotten to the point where they would have to openly admit, we effed up, we did wrong, we listened to the cowardly in our society and let them influence politics and decisions, we shouldn't have done that. All of a sudden, this conflict, this war starts, and everybody's attention is like pulled away from it. And I don't know how I feel about that. Okay, the number 2 issue that has really red-pilled me, again, an issue I've talked about a lot, so you guys probably won't be surprised by it, is, of course, the whole trans issue. As I said at this point, not going to listen to it anymore, not going to consider it anymore. I think all of it is completely ridiculous. You cannot feel like the opposite sex. You can never become the opposite sex. It's just completely ridiculous to me. I'm not going to entertain it on any way, shape, or form. Now, if you personally feel you want to change your body and you are born a man and you want to dress like a woman and change your body to appear like a woman, I honestly don't care, as long as A, you don't expect me to say that you're a woman, because you aren't, and you don't go infringe on women's spaces, you don't go into women's sports, all this kind of stuff. If you're just doing it for yourself and you walk around in public like that and you want to call yourself whatever you want to call yourself, I don't care. I feel like in that way I'm still a classical liberal. But I'm not going to entertain the idea anymore that you can feel like something that you've never been. I've thought about this topic a lot now because it's so much in the media and everything, and that's just my personal conclusion of it. The same way you can't say you feel like a cup or a chair or a dog or a tree. I mean, people are now claiming these things because, once you open that Pandora box, that's what happens. But no, if you're born a man, you're a man. You're always going to be a man. If you're born a woman, you will always be a woman. That's just the way it is. I'm not going to entertain it. And actually, I don't remember which person I was watching, and they brought this up, and I thought it was such a clever point. It was some political pundit, and they said something like, it's really weird because most people who are identifying as trans are people who also say that they're agnostic or atheist, but at the same time, they are saying that they internally feel like the opposite sex. Now, if you're going to say, and this is such a clever point, like I never thought of this myself, but when this guy, it was a guy, it wasn't Ben Shapiro though, I forget who it was. And they were saying like, but if you are actually saying that you can feel inside of yourself different from what your body is, then you are basically admitting that somehow conceptually you believe in the idea of a soul. Because if you're saying you feel internally different from the way your body is, well, that feeling would then have to be your soul or your spirit or whatever. So it's like, but then, and then you kind of get into this realm. So if you're kind of quasi admitting to the fact that you believe that there is a soul inside of you that is maybe the other gender, then but then still trying to say that there's no such thing as God, or you don't believe in God, that in itself doesn't make sense. And if you're going to try to say that there is some kind of internal feeling and manifestation of the self, I think that's called the ego. I was not that good in philosophy class. But they're like, but then you're also kind of admitting that if God exists, well, then you also have to consider the fact that believing in God also predicates on the idea that God doesn't make any mistakes. So if God wanted you to be in that body, then you were meant to be in that body. So like overall, it was like, I know a lot of my viewers are probably not religious. I am not religious. I do believe in God. I've mentioned this before, but I'm not religious per se. But I just thought that was like another really interesting idea in how the trans issue doesn't work and doesn't make sense. But Yeah, I don't need to talk more about that. You guys know that I'm not entertaining it anymore. I'm not going to listen to it anymore. Like, I don't personally have a problem. There is a handful of trans people where I would be willing to use the pronouns he, he, she. No, you're not supposed to say that anymore. That's offensive. He, him for a female to male, and she, her for from a male to female. Like somebody like Blair White, who I think is somebody who's open about the fact that I am not a woman, I am a trans woman. But anybody in any way, shape, or form was trying to say things like, a woman's penis. No. No, no, no. No, no. No, 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 no. Men can give birth. No, 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 no. No, no, no. Men cannot give birth. Men cannot give birth. So if somebody like that who would say something so ridiculous right away, I'd be like, I can't even then give you out of politeness the pronouns of your choice, because you are just a completely ridiculous human being to me who is trying to change the face of reality, and I'm not going to play that game. I'm not going to play that game. I know the left is really trying to change reality, but nope, not doing it. Sorry. I will not comply. Okay, and the number one issue that is really, I think, red-pilled me, and this is actually something I've not really talked about or like made an exclusive or a specific video just on this topic. I've mentioned it here and there in other topics, kind of like as an aside. You guys know how I love asides and tangents. Is social media. I honestly have to say, I think the number one evil that exists in the world right now is social media. Social media has done more harm to the human race than anything else in modern days. I think it is to me like just absolute evil. And I think that is why I'm also saying I would say around 2015 is when the world is, at least the left and the terms like the social concepts and constructs we had as a world really have broken down and gone crazy around 2015. Because I would say 2015 is when it really got to the point where almost everyone in the Western world and a good portion of people, even not in the third world, have gotten to the point where they have a smartphone and they have all these apps, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. TikTok is just right from the devil. I mean, this is literally right from the devil, right? So, social media, I could make probably a 5-hour video talking about all the evils. It's one of those things. I think like most human inventions started off with a good idea that then was butchered. And the idea was originally like, oh, we can use social media to stay in contact with people that maybe live far away or that we don't see on a regular basis. Like Facebook, when it first came about, it was this really cool thing, right? It was like, you found a way to connect with people that you haven't seen since high school or grade school, and you would use it sparingly and put up maybe pictures of a wedding or an anniversary or somebody's birthday, and it was like a quick way to just let people in your life know, like, hey, look, this is what's going on in my life. And then it quickly evolved to people taking pictures of the food that they're eating or the shoes that they bought, or, just like completely irrelevant, stupid things. And it just came and just expanded. And we have, through social media, created the most uneducated, narcissistic society that, in my opinion, probably has ever existed in the world. Just yesterday again, somebody asked me, they're like, oh, do you have Instagram? And I was like, I don't have Instagram. And they were really shocked. And this is just my personal opinion, but I'm like, what a horrible, horrible app. What a horrible app Instagram is. What a horrible app TikTok is. I mean, these apps exist solely to feed your own narcissism. It's literally an app that you do nothing but post pictures of yourself. Post pictures of yourself. I mean, like, how just incredibly tacky, vulgar, and narcissistic to be like, oh, here's a great picture of me. I have to show that to everybody. And here's a great picture of me. And oh, more selfies. And here I am at Starbucks selfie. And here I am at this place selfie. And here I am taking a shit selfie. And here I am, throwing up selfie. And here I am at the party selfie. Here I am sucking another guy's dick selfie. And selfie, selfie, selfie. And let's share it with everybody so everybody knows how incredibly special I am. And I'm like, just the basic concept of these apps, that is just me. Look at me. Look how important I am. Look how interesting I am. I mean, like, that, it's such, to me, a vulgar display of how humans have become. And which again makes me wonder how these same people then also think that socialism will work, because the basis of socialism to work is to put the us and the community above the self. And then all of these apps, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, are all about glorifying the self. Look at me. Look how beautiful I am. Look at how amazing my outfits are. Look at how sexy I look next to this car that's probably not my car. And look at how inched in my waist is. Of course, it's a filter, but who cares? It's just all fake and just so narcissistic. And I could even deal with that if the content wasn't so incredibly stupid. So stupid. It's so stupid. It's brain-numbingly stupid. Like, I can't. Like, if people are trying to show me their Instagram or these TikTok videos, and it's just like nonstop, like people, if I have to see one more dance video, I can't. Oh my God, it's just like flood of dance videos. I'm like, how is this entertaining people for hours and hours on end, seeing people doing these stupid 2-minute dance videos? Like, I was just born in the wrong century. Like, obviously I'm too old or something. Like, that whole thing is just completely, I can't connect to it at all. So besides the fact that I think it's vulgar, I think it's narcissistic, I don't have any of it. The only thing I still have is Facebook. And that's because I do move a lot, and I do have my family, and I do have my friends on there. I am very proud to admit that I have just a little bit over 100 people on my Facebook. These are all people that I actually know and hang out with and talk to outside of Facebook, for the most part. I'm not getting into these other apps. Like, it's just, I can't. Like, but so besides the fact that I think they're all really pushing people's narcissism, the other thing is I think social media has really added to how bipartisan the world has become. Nothing has nuance anymore. Nothing. No topic that is being discussed in the world anymore has any nuance. Everything is black or white. Everything is good or bad. Everything. And that's another reason why I said I don't want to talk about the Ukraine thing, because I have an unpopular opinion. But it's like, even the Ukraine thing, it's just kind of like, Russia bad, Ukraine good. Period. That's it. That's all. Like, and that's all that's being pumped out by the media and everything. And then, because here we are, we live in a world where most people don't care. They don't care outside of their own narcissism anymore. Everything is just like, press that like button. Oh, Ukraine good. Like button. Oh, put a little Ukraine flag in your profile. Don't actually go in and read about the history of Ukraine. Don't read about the creation of Ukraine. Don't read about, the political instability between those two countries over God knows how many years. Don't do any of that. Just put a little Ukraine flag